All right, let's move on to this story now. The Democratic Alliance Federal Chairperson, Helen Zille, says they have a strong case against the implementation of the fiscal framework adopted by Parliament yesterday. The party has now filed court papers to challenge its implementation. Ziyanda Ngcobo is in Cape Town for us, and she joins us live to give us a little bit more information about this strong case that the Democratic Alliance believes it has. Ziyanda, what is their court case premised on exactly?
Well, Xoli, there are two things that this case is premised on. The first thing is the process that was followed by the Standing Committee on Finance on the 1st of April. They're saying that they did not follow the process to the T, in particular when it comes to the adoption of that report, which was ultimately tabled and voted on in Parliament yesterday. The second issue is around the fact that they believe the Finance Minister has fleeting powers, too much power to just simply declare a VAT increase, and that is the end of that, and then it comes into effect, as is the case now with the 0.5 percentage point VAT hike that comes into effect on the 1st of May. If, of course, they do not stick to, and that then being the National Treasury, if they don't stick to that agreement with Action SA and the recommendations of BOSA to actually come up with revenue proposals. So this is an urgent court interdict, might I add, Xoli, that was filed in the Western Cape High Court this morning by the DA's Federal Council Chairperson Helen Zille and her team, where basically they're saying that the ANC has negotiated in bad faith, that they're part of a GNU, they were in conversation with the DA, but they then decided to go outside of the parameters of the GNU to speak to other smaller parties and to try and push ahead with this budget for vote, which of course went over the threshold by 12 votes. Let's listen to what Helen said earlier.
Our plan B is very strong and solid. This morning I signed these papers. These are crucial papers that are going to really change the face of how these decisions are taken in Parliament and change the decision to increase your VAT. It will ensure that we prevent that. And these papers have two parts. The first is to get the process on the 1st of April that transpired in the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Finance declared null and void because they were unprocedural. Therefore, to set aside any decision they took. And the second part of Part A is to interdict a VAT increase on the 1st of May. So that's an urgent case to interdict a VAT increase.
I must say, Xoli, that, one of the questions that I specifically asked Helen Zille as well, you are now going to court to have that arm of the state, being the judiciary, arbitrate over a political process in Parliament. And she, as you would have heard her intimating in that bite, to say, well, yes, of course, we're going to the judiciary to try and enter the fray, because it seems that Parliament did not want to follow its own rules. Now, the second part of this is they're challenging Section 7.4 of the VAT Act, which allows for the minister to make an announcement such as the one that he did, that there would be a VAT increase, and that they're saying this should actually be the subject and scrutiny of Parliament before it is actually operationalized. But the other hand here, Xoli, as well, the DA didn't have a problem in 2018 when the then Finance Minister, Malusi Gigaba, announced a 1 percentage point VAT hike. And so this seems that this is just them, having lost the political battle in Parliament. But Helen Zille insisting that this is a combination of factors. And of course, there's still lots of discussion around their future in the Government of National Unity, the Federal Executive starting their virtual meeting at 1 p.m. this afternoon. But certainly insofar as the unconstitutionality of the VAT Act, and that's section 7.4. This is another part B of that urgent court interdict. This is what Helen had to say.
The second part of these papers is to get section 7.4 of the VAT Act declared unconstitutional because it gives the minister the power to enforce a VAT increase without taking it through Parliament and without the need to have the fiscal framework and other legislation required passed in Parliament. So it gives the minister legislative powers to pass laws simply by making a statement. And we know that that is unconstitutional, and we want the court to declare it now.
All right, Ziyanda Ngcobo, let's wrap it there, and we are going to have more conversations around particularly the VAT element of this. And thank you very much for the time being, my colleague Ziyanda Ngcobo, live for us in Cape Town.